This segment brought to you by the Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center in Oakley.
The northern bobwhite quail is the most well-known native game bird in Kansas, according to Charlie Lee, wildlife management expert for K-State and K-State Research and Extension. The winter months serve as an important time for landowners to consider how to make land more quail-friendly. Bobwhite quail have been making a very strong recovery in western Kansas, according to Jason Wagner, wildlife biologist for the Kansas Department of Wildlife Parks and Tourism. Quail populations in western Kansas are boom or bust because they are closely tied to the timing and amount of precipitation. Conditions over the last 3 years have allowed for prime quail habitat during nesting and brood rearing times. Quail hatch peaks in late June and early July. Quail also have a tenacious re-nesting behavior, which allows them to continue to attempt to raise broods until they are successful. Bless their hearts. Bobwhites are known as an edge species. They thrive in areas that have abrupt changes in habitat. These areas are generally where woody vegetation, like shrubs, meets native grasslands, cropland, or weedy areas. One key component is woody escape cover, preferably shrubs that are 3 to 6 feet tall. Quail need residual cover of native warm season grasses to nest in. In order to raise a brood, bobwhites need bare ground with good overhead canopy cover and lots of insects for foraging. Areas of brood-rearing habitat have abundant forbs, or flowering plants that are not grasses. During the winter months, quail need areas of woody or weedy cover to get out of the extreme weather of western Kansas. Good quail habitat begins with properly managed native warm season grasses. Quail can benefit from common grassland practices like prescribed burning. Trees like honey locusts, elms, and cedars should be removed from grasslands that are being managed for quail. Shrubs like sandhill plum, American plum, and fragrant sumac should be left for escape cover. Shrub thickets should be spaced apart, about as far as you can throw a softball. If there are no shrubs present, planting a variety of shrubs in rows or thickets along the edges of crop fields or rangeland can also improve quail habitat. Conservation Reserve Program, CRP, has helped boost quail populations in Kansas since it began in 1985. Interseeding forbs into CRP will also improve the quality of habitat for bobwhites. Grassed terraces, or native warm season grass waterways, are also excellent ways to improve quail habitat on crop fields. Any native grass strips should be at least 30 feet wide. An easy way to create escape cover for quail is cutting unwanted trees like locust, cedar, and elm, and then loosely stacking them into brush piles. Old windrows and hedgerows can be renovated to further help the local quail population. Trees in windrows can be cut and left where they fall. Osage orange trees can be cut off at ground level and then the stump left unsprayed. The tree will re-sprout at the stump and create the woody escape cover quail require. The edges of riparian areas can be feathered by cutting trees along the edge and leaving the cut trees where they fall. Odd areas or strips in cropland can be left unsprayed and untilled to allow for weed growth that would benefit quail. Any odd areas or weedy areas should be left along the edge of crop fields and positioned close to permanent native grasses or woody vegetation. Leaving a strip of ground along the fence rows or roads undisturbed will create areas of edge for the bobwhites. Cover crops may also benefit quail by providing brood-rearing habitat, a food source, and escape cover. The experts assure us that managing for quail is not difficult. It just requires some planning this time of year. Come spring, the bobwhite will be singing our praises. Welcome to Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center, right here in Oakley, Kansas on I-70 at exit 76. I-70, after all, is America's Main Street, and we're right here on Main Street for you. Now that I'm an Oakley resident, I still come in almost every day, and I sit and listen to the conversations of the people around me. You know, the guys who are talking about the big elk they just bagged, or the folks who are taking their kid to college for the first time. People just traveling up and down the highway. Real people, just like you and me. And they find just what I find here, real people to serve them. There's history, there's scenery. We hope you'll stop and see us soon. Welcome to Oakley.